Esther Buerki. I'm the author of Living Without Fear and the co-publisher of Inspired Journeys. I help you overcome your fears in life and writing your book. I offer a course called Believe You Can Write, and I support you with one-on-one coaching. Get in touch with me if you need help or order my biography, Living Without Fear. And please share this podcast with a friend who you know needs to hear this episode. And why not giving this podcast a 5-star review so that many more people will find this episode? And today, I'd like to share something I experienced with my 2 boys who soon will be 17 and 19 years old. And this experience is not only valuable for the parent-children relationship, but for any relationship with a friend, a spouse, or even with a boss. Let me go back quickly. If you have known me 4 or 5 years ago, you would know how much I struggled with my 2 boys growing up, being in puberty, being mean to me, not listening to me. We had so many awful discussions, and I felt so lost with them. As a single mom, although they spent some time with their father, but their father was more the person for their nice time. The hard work, the education, and the organization of their daily life was lying more on my shoulders. So often, I felt like a failure, mostly because I was not able to establish a nice relationship with them. I did all I could and what came to my mind to improve the relationship. I went to therapy. I sent the older boy to therapy. I brought him to doctors for diagnostic assessments. The label ADHD didn't help us much. It has been a real nightmare. I couldn't handle the situation anymore, and I sent him to his father. But now, after 3 years, he's back since the beginning of this year. And we all 3 already spent beautiful 2 weeks of vacation in Egypt this year. And for Christmas, we will spend another 2 weeks together in the south of India. But all this would not have been possible with the change and the inner work I've done in the past 3 years. Day by day, week for week, and never giving up for a day or 2. After I have met Tony Robbins and I've got personal coaching with one of his coaches. Imagine now my 2 boys, both over 6 feet or 1.85 meters tall, they say thank you to me many times a day. They appreciate and are grateful for what I do for them. Thank you, Mom, is a sentence which didn't exist before in our household. Today, it's a standard. How is this possible? Sometimes I need to pinch myself to be sure that it's not a dream. But I am the change. I changed, and they changed, and still change with me. What I experienced with my 2 boys is also possible in any relationship. The way I show up, the way I will be treated by others. So, one example from my daily life with my 2 boys is that I'm very careful when I want to criticize them. A few years back, I threw everything at them without reflecting at all, and most of the time I felt exhausted, not seen and not worthy. So all I said was hurting them. I felt hurt by all my life struggles, and I hurt my boys. Today, before I tell them something which I want to be changed in our household, for example, having a clean kitchen or reminding them of their duties, I check in with myself. Of course, sometimes I'm tired or something hurt me before, and I forget to check in. But the minute I say something, I realize it, and I try to apologize for the way I was speaking. But nowadays, very, very often, I check in with myself and I realize that the negative thing I want to tell them is not important at all. It can wait until I'm in a better state. And when I am in a better state, I can talk differently. I can say something small to appreciate them first. And at the end, I can add my wish for a cleaner kitchen or the fact that I'd love them to do the duties we agreed to in the beginning of this year. And this is a total game changer. They react totally different. You might not believe it, but it's amazing. So I'd love to encourage you to try it out in any relationship. Check in with yourself first before you start talking, before you start picking on someone. Can you say something while you are in this positive state, or are you feeling tired, disappointed, or even hurt? This makes such a huge difference in your relationship. Maybe it might not work in the first time, but the more and the longer you pay attention to your state and feelings when you interact with someone else, the relationship will change. Try it out and let me know. And get my book, Living Without Fear, on Amazon to learn more. Thank you, dear listener, for being here in this moment and taking some time to learn from me. Appreciate yourself for this. You're awesome, you're loved, and you matter. And thank you so much for sharing this podcast with someone who needs to hear this episode. Have an amazing day and talk to you next week.